To talk education skills in Nigeria, former governor of Edo State, Godwin Obaseki, has warned that Africa's projected population growth of about 2.82 billion by 2060 could trigger a severe socio-economic crisis unless governments at all levels, federal, state, and so on, rethink education, skills development, and employment systems. He says Africa is approaching a critical phase with nearly 2 billion or more people expected to need education, jobs, and economic integration over the next 3 decades. And his comments, he's a visiting researcher at the School of African Studies, Boston University in the United States, and he was delivering a keynote address at the 3rd Islamic World Educational, Scientific, and Cultural Organizational Dialogue in London, United Kingdom, actually. So let's take a reaction from Arise Business Analyst Chika Mbonu, who's, very integral in the education space with all the folks that he has trained. You're welcome, sir. Welcome to a new week.
This morning.
Good morning to you. Good morning.
This is a very serious topic.
It is.
And I wish I have the whole day to talk about it. And Mandela said that education is the most powerful weapon which you can use to change the world. Education is so important. Even Benjamin Franklin said, an investment in knowledge pays the best interest.
Yeah.
And even Abraham Lincoln said, upon the subject of education, I can only say that I view it as the most important subject which we as a people might be engaging. We in Arise here, we put out our own that education is the factory where the nation manufactures its future. If the factory is broken, don't be surprised, like we have now, whether it's unemployment, crime, poverty, bad leadership, and frustration. So it's given. Education is so important, and the foreigners have agreed on that. He talked about Mr. Godwin Obaseki, who was worried about Africa. What he's basically saying is the African population will be about 2.82 billion in 2060, and population is not strength. The population becomes strength when it's backed up by skills.
Right.
When education has skills and job systems that are reformed. Then education becomes, population becomes strength. Population is not an automatic asset. It becomes an asset only when people are educated, skilled, healthy, and employable.
Right.
But what we'll see, therefore, is if this continues in Africa, we're going to have what they call democratic gunpowder. Plenty youth, little skills, few jobs, and growing frustration. Now, very important topic. So I continue, Rotus. Give me some time this morning.
Okay.
Nigeria has one of the biggest education systems in Africa, but one of the biggest education crises also. Let me push it a little forward for you. Let's look at out-of-school children.
Right.
As a statistics. UNICEF said, not me, says that out of 10.5 million children out of school in Nigeria. Or that another 2024 policy estimates that they put the figure at 18.3 million. With 10.2 primary school age and 8.1 secondary school age. You can imagine that. Learning poverty. World Bank estimates, not me again, that over 75% of Nigerian children, listen to this, cannot read and understand a simple text by the age of 10. It's a problem.
That's a real problem.
Let's look at completion rate as another statistics. UNICEF, not me again, she shows the Nigerian completion rate is at 73% in primary school, 68% in junior secondary school, and 54% in secondary school. When you go down the pyramid, the poverty level, these ratios come down to 34% primary completion rate. Those start and complete. And the secondary school 27%, and in higher school 16%. Now, the one is under control, budgeting. Nigerian education budget came in at 22.5 trillion, 2025. But this is about only barely less below 5% of the budget. But Nigerian budget, we just January, we put figures there, and we don't execute. So Nigeria is spending too little to listen to so many children. We're just saying the same things. So the system, policies are all there. Nigeria has everything. Policies, agencies, commissions, regulatory, whatever, examination bodies, and whatever. But the child in Zamfara, Lagos, you're anywhere, they will not eat policy.
Right.
They won't eat policy. What they need is classroom, teacher, books, safety, electricity, internet, and so on and so forth. So our crisis is not one problem. It's like wearing so many uniforms. And I will quickly, with the little time we have, go through them. Look at the primary. Let me start from the primary school level, the pre-primary school level. This is where they have the foundation, but the foundation is very weak. The primary school, the nurseries and so on and so forth.
Yeah.
This is where learning habits the foundation, learning habit, language skills, numeracy, confidence and discipline should begin. But what do we have there? What do we have there? Too much dependence on private sector. You rarely have public schools at this level.
That's correct.
You have untrained early school teachers, So what is that? Put it out there now that it's so difficult, not easy to train these nursery kids. Because I tried it one time with my kid and I failed woefully. But many are poorly trained.
Yeah. So
let's put it this way. Early childhood teaching is not babysitting. It's not babysitting. It's brain development, actually.
Yeah.
So, but we have very few teachers there. Urban-rural inequality, you will see kids, in the rural community who can't do anything. They can't even hold pencil. But the urban centers, they have gone ahead.
Yeah.
So from even primary one, the rest is already over. Language issues. Go and see some of these teachers who are training our children. Ordinary comprehension, they cannot even write. So you can imagine what they will pass on. So some children are already on the educational expressway from nursery school. But, some others are already in the bus, they're not even in the bus stop.
Yeah.
In the where they have the highest emergency is the primary level. The primary school is where the country should guarantee literacy, numeracy, character. But that's where figure the code for that of school children, learning poverty, 75%, teacher shortage, poor infrastructure. This is one that pains me so much, which is, classroom without chairs, school without toilets, people's learning under the trees, no libraries, no laboratories. So when I see these 30 Prado convoys, so people are driving, I just said that people are just plainly wicked. Because just look at what happened. You have seen some of the videos of children studying under the trees, on roofs and stuff like that. Poverty and hunger, Rutus. Children are physically present, but mentally absent.
Can't concentrate.
Because breakfast didn't happen.
Yeah, they didn't eat.
They didn't eat.
But that's something that is really overlooked. I mean, you cannot learn if you're hungry.
Insecurity. Many schools in the north can't open because of what it is, insecurity. So you cannot ask a hungry child under a leaking roof to compete with a child using tablets, internet. This one is not competition; it is punishment. Yeah. Now, secondary school that's a problem. I don't have time, so let me go to the university. University systems are producing graduates, but not always capability. That's what we have here. Nigeria has many universities, polytechnics, college of education, but the system faces deep quality and credibility issues. Underfunding, we know that already. That issue of underfunding. Strikes and calendar instability.
Yep.
Pro graduate unavailability. I recruit. That sometimes you advertise for a job, we spend the whole Saturday interviewing 1,000 people. You will barely get how many people because of the skills.
Yeah.
They have their degrees or whatever for them. Outdated curricula, that's even the worst one. Some courses are still teaching the economy to students who must work in tomorrow's economy.
That curriculum.
Research weakness. Many institutions lack research funding, extortion, and unofficial fees. Okay? I will dwell on that, Rutus. Yeah. But before I go on that, I said, the little time I have, some students enter university to study accounting, Rutus. But before graduation, there was a study survivor, negotiation, begging, printing receipts, and avoiding lecturer wahala. Now, see, listen to this to me. I handle this carefully. Not every lecturer is corrupt.
Yep.
And I must put it out there.
Yeah.
But this I'm saying now is better than the fact that I'm training at least 10, 15 people in university under my scholarship. I enjoy talking to drivers and Uber people when I'm in Uber about their children and kids and what they're going through. And I interview some people who are doing master's degree in some universities. Many lecturers are brilliant, underpaid and overworked routers. But the issue is that the system has allowed bad behavior in some places. Yeah. Let me go through those quickly. Compulsory handout and textbooks. Students are forced to buy materials from lecturers or risk poor marks. Absolutely, I'm sure come for me for this. We have come, Project supervision payments. Students pay unofficial money before supervisor review projects. Remember I said not every lecturer is bad. Yeah. Clearance rackets. Final year students first strange payments before graduation clearance. They can deny all these things, but it's happening. Departmental faculty levies. Some of them are legitimate, but others are poorly documented and illegal. Practical and lab fees outside official channels. Students pay cash without receipts. Sorting out for marks. Hey, this is the worst one. Because this is the most damaging one because it destroys merit. You can determine the mark that you earn. Yeah. So universities. And blackmail fields. If you don't pay, the driver I saw in Port Harcourt said that they told his daughter, if you don't pay, your file will not move.
Wow.
You know, this is not education. This is also taking. So when the student pays school fees, acceptance fee, faculty fee, departmental fee, handout fee, project fee, clearance fee, still buys fuel for the generator, at some point, the parent will ask, are we educating the child or funding local government? You know. So...
oh, my goodness. The problems are plenty.
See, don't ask me about practical solutions. They are there.
Yeah.
Nigeria has been holding this panel, that panel, that there.
Committees.
You know, committees. Yeah. You know the thing. But look at it. Who are those who implement committees? Remember what the politicians these days enjoy is that see my children graduating at Stanford University.
Overseas.
See my other child graduating at Harvard.
Yeah.
See these are the people who are supposed to make policies for us. They're supposed to make sure the lecturers go on strike. Does the strike affect them?
Doesn't affect them. There's some people that say we should force politicians' children to school.
They affect them. So it's heartless when they see the videos of children under the roof, under the trees and houses on the floor. Meanwhile, you have 20 convoy Prado cars, all imported, not even patronizing local production. I keep telling you that governance is simple if you actually love your people.
Yeah.
You know, because out of the 36 states plus, there's a semblance of sanity in 1 or 2 or 3 or 4 states who love their people. The other ones collect fact allocation. You see, teachers are still on strike in some states. Pensions are not being paid. Meanwhile, our president says we should hold our governors accountable. But there's so much money, and this is a major issue. So, do I have to talk about? I mean, there are solutions here, Rotus, level by level.
I guess,
But the issue that we know this is already.
Yeah, having the will.
The will. And the love for the people. And ensuring that people get the democratic dividends, you know.
We'll have an election next year. This is one of the pressing topics.
May our votes count.
Yeah, exactly. That's a big one. All right, Business Analyst Chika Mbonu, thank you so much for the deep dive, putting these problems out on the table. And if ASO calls out, I'll need to come back and respond to them. Thank you so much, Chika Mbonu. I appreciate it.
Thank you.